Hello, I am Ashley Fleming here today on behalf of the Goldsboro Rotary Club, and we're going to read Salty Seagull, A Tale of an Old Salt by Suzanne Tate, and illustrated by James Melvin. And I'm assisted today by Audrey, Pungo, and Seymour is going to help me read this book to you. Salty Seagull, A Tale of an Old Salt. Salty Seagull was a salty old salt. He was wise in the ways around the water. Salty lived on Little Island with a big flock of gulls. He was the oldest of his flock. Salty's wings drooped down, but they still carried him far, and the feathers on them were bright and black. Salty proudly held his white head high. Young birds in the flock, Cindy and Simon Seagull, thought that he was the smartest gull of all, but other gulls didn't think so. When Salty tried to tell them what they should or shouldn't do, those gulls sassed him. Don't get your feathers ruffled, the sassy bird said to Salty. They really didn't think that he was very smart. In the summertime, all the gulls led lovely lives on Little Island. The weather was breezy and warm, and there were lots of little fish for them to catch and eat. But one summer, a big rain came. The wind picked up and blew and blew. It was blustery. It blew so hard that the gulls didn't even try to fly. They huddled together on the ground beside some bushes. The gulls were afraid that they would just blow away. "Salty, what are we going to do?" cried Cindy Seagull. She was scared. What's happening?" asked Simon Seagull, trying to be brave. "This is a hurricane," Salty said. "I have seen many bad storms like this." "Stay down and be still," he said. "We will soon see the eye of the storm, and the wind will stop blowing and the sun will shine." "Don't pay any attention to him," the sassy gull said. "Salty's just a bird-brained old bird." Then the sassy gulls tried to fly, but the wind carried them faster and faster. It tumbled and turned them. Suddenly, bright sunshine came out, and the wind stopped blowing. The weather was beautiful, just as Salty had said. It was the eye of the hurricane. Cindy Seagull soared into the sky. She felt as free as a bird. "Oh, how beautiful," she thought. Simon Seagull flew up to join her. "Salty was right," he said. But Salty Seagull shouted, "The storm will return. Come back where it is safe." So they all flew to the ground and huddled together again. The storm returned as Salty said. It blew and rained some more, and then the storm was over. The sassy gulls came straggling back to Little Island. Cindy Seagull tried to tell them about the eye of the hurricane, but those sassy gulls shook their head. "Just some more Salty's tales," they said. The season of hurricanes soon ended, and the weather turned cold. There were fewer and fewer fish in the waters around Little Island. The gulls were having trouble finding enough to eat. They were getting hungry. "What are we going to do for food?" Cindy Seagull asked. "Let's ask Salty," replied Simon Seagull. "Maybe he has a plan." Salty did know what they should do. "We can eat clams," he said. The sassy gulls laughed. "What a bird-brain idea," they cackled. "You know we can't eat clams. Their shells are too hard." Salty Seagull didn't say another word. He flew away over the water. The other gulls watched as Salty dived into the cold water. Soon, he came up with a clam in his beak. Then he did a surprising thing. Salty Seagull flew with the clam to a nearby road. He flew high above the road. He dropped the clam, and its shell broke into pieces. Juicy meat spilled out of it. All the gulls were so surprised, they too began diving and picking up clams and dropping them onto the road. The clams broke open, and meat spilled out. The gulls had plenty of food to eat. There was just one thing wrong. When the gulls sat down in the road to eat clams, cars came along. It was dangerous to eat clams on the road. "Watch out for cars," Salty warned them, and all of the gulls listened to him. One day, humans came and worked near the road. They were paving a parking lot in front of a store. The parking lot was black and hard. Salty Seagull was pleased. "What a good place to drop clams," he said. "It should be a safer place for us." As soon as the parking lot was done, the gulls began to drop clams on it. "You were right, Salty," said Cindy Seagull. "The parking lot is safer than the road. The store is closed this time of year. We won't have to worry about cars." None of the gulls was ever again sassy to Salty. The gulls said as they all dropped clams, and thanks to Salty Seagull, they never went hungry in the wintertime again. That is the story of Salty Seagull, a tale of an old salt.